ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकयः चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna to everybody. In the continuation of reading The Living Name, utilizing this book, let me say it again. The goal of this book is not to give information but bring about transformation. And from the reader, this requires active participation. If someone only wants to be informed, all he has to do is collect the information. However, if someone wishes to have an experience that helps him or her move forward in spiritual life, then application and practice are required. Therefore, I will introduce to you helpful principles of active learning through exercises within or at the end of chapters. Active learning means to learn something through an activity, analyzing, evaluating, discussing, writing, and problem solving. For example, are all good active learning exercises. These help you to immediately apply whatever you have learned. The principles of active learning date back to ancient Upanishads. According to the Brahma Aranyaka Upanishad, learning that leads to realization is done in three steps: Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. The definition of Shravana is to hear and learn from a competent life teacher in a consistent and systematic way over a prolonged period of time. After hearing on a subject, one needs to practice manana to ask what does this mean and reflect upon this until there are no doubts left. The final stage of learning process is nididhyasana, deep, profound meditation. This can best be accomplished by meditating on how to utilize the teachings and then applying them. By such application, one engages with the teachings and assimilates them so that he owns them. This requires repeated meditation on the teachings and repeated application. Even if we fall 7 times, the 8th time we will succeed. Thus, Shravana can be compared with bringing food to the mouth, Manana with chewing it, and Nididhyasana with swallowing and digesting it. As Vaishnavas, we add one more learning element, Vandanam or praying. By turning to the Lord for help, even the daunting task of focusing our restless mind becomes easily possible. This is how one learns anything. It is different from gathering information. Therefore, I humbly request you to fully participate by doing the exercises given in this book. To end, I pray this book does not become yet another book on your bookshelf, which you forget all about after you have finished reading it. I will not see my service as effective if I only hear thank you, wonderful book. No, the success of my service will be it in half a year you say, I am a changed person. I am now an ecstatic person who deeply experiences spiritual life. And please do not forget, chant, 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 because regular practice will take you from imperfection to perfection. Chapter 1, Yojana, aligning the body, mind, and heart in chanting. The essential truth is that we can chant properly and easily if we have ruchi taste. Ruchi, however, is dependent on purity of the heart. Someone who is pure at heart loves to chant, while someone whose heart is occupied with many other desires and attachments finds it difficult to chant with concentration. It's that straightforward. This internal purity is the result of spiritual practice, usually performed over a prolonged period of time in the association of devotees. Is there any method that can help accelerate the process? Yes, we have to learn to be fully present and absorb ourselves entirely while chanting. This powerful and transformative practice invites the holy name to work his wonders and quickly purify us. But if we are absent, like someone who is not at home, the holy name cannot work on our hearts because our heart is not in it. The method to bring us to a state of presence is called yojana. In Sanskrit, yojana means to connect, join, harness, or yoke. It comes from the verbal root yuj, which is also the verbal root of yoga. The best English translation for yojana is alignment. But what is to be connected and joined up? The answer is body, mind, and heart. The concept of alignment. The term alignment comes from the French word aligner, which means to align up. The English translation is to arrange things in their proper position. Think of a sports car. It can speed down a highway if the wheels, gears, cylinders, fuel, etc. are in their proper position. These elements work seamlessly only when they are fixed in their appropriate place. Then and only then locomotion can take place. If oil or water is filled in the gas tank instead of fuel, then the car won't move. Another example of alignment is seen in Yogasana. You can experience the full benefits of yoga and enter the yoga zone when your body posture, movement, and breathing are all synchronized. Yoga positions become laborious or intellectual when one moves, thinks, and breathes out of alignment. We must begin to think like this in our chanting practice. We should place our mind, body, and heart in their proper positions so we achieve optimal concentration and chant with deep devotional feelings. This will attract the holy name to reveal himself more and more because he notices our efforts to please him. Taking the effort to align ourselves is our invitation to the holy name. When our home is in disarray, it's not fit to receive a guest. Only when we make order is it attractive for the guest to stay. Similarly, when our body, mind, and heart are in disarray, Krishna has no proper place to stay. Aligning our entire sadhana, sharira, vehicle for spiritual practice, helps us to fully immerse ourselves in the sound vibration of the holy name. We can thus approach the Lord on the altar of our heart and invite Him to stay with us. Let's stop here for today's reading. So we had here before the start of the chapter 1, the author is making us realize that just gathering the information and for the sake of reading a book written by one of the great devotee doesn't give us serve the purpose. He is emphasizing us before he proceeds for the further process of explaining the effect of the holy name. He says that unless and until it is put into practice, practical application, there is no point of having uh, any benefits. So he here emphasizes to understand the information, then um, think about the information, get clear about the doubts, and put into daily practices. So this kind of an explanation has been explained in Upanishad itself, like where the terminologies are used as Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. There is that once after hearing, one has to ponder over and think over and clear all the doubts. And once all the doubts are cleared, then go into deep meditation and put into one's practical application. So in the chapter 1, the author starts with Yojana, and the meaning of Yojana is very well defined. Yojana is nothing but aligning, putting things in one alignment. So if you see Yojana means, for example, the thing comes to the mind is the wooden piece which is been put onto two cows and which aligns both the cows so that the cow moves in the same direction. If just imagine if that yoke is not been on the cow's head and each cow moving in different direction and the purpose is not served. So similarly here, one has to align oneself, the mind, body, and um, the chanting process in such a way that it is aligned and the actual purpose of concentrating on the Lord's holy name is achieved. A beautiful examples are quoted here, couple of them. He quotes about if the things are not aligned, for example, about the sports car, and if it's may not in an appropriate way done, then it doesn't serve the purpose of reaching the speed. And second thing is talks about um, our yoga asanas. If the yoga asanas are not performed with the actual way of doing it, the breathing control and the proper time and the posture, the benefits is not obtained. Similarly, in order to achieve the full benefit of chanting the holy name and have its effect, one has to align their mind, body, accordingly. And it's very nicely said here that we when we try to invite anybody, the guest in a house, we try to keep the house properly by aligning all the stuffs where they have to belong, so that when the guest comes in, they feel nice. Similarly, if we align our mind and body and try to concentrate and chant on the holy name, which is equally we are inviting the Lord's holy name into our heart. And if our heart is impure, then the Lord may not stay in our heart and we may not get the benefit, nor we may experience the pleasure of chanting the holy name. So I stop here for today's reading and let's try all of us to implement these things. The author is also giving certain exercises at the end of each chapter. May we all adhere to those practices. So I continue.